World Trade Organization says global goods trade should rebound this year, but more slowly than previously expected. That's after only its third decline in 30 years in 2023.
The trade body said easing inflationary pressures should help volumes increase by 2.6% in 2024. But it warns of risks from trade fragmentation due to geopolitical tensions, rising protectionism and a worsening crisis in the Middle East. Juliet Mann spoke to WTO Chief Economist Ralph Ossa.
To explain what's driving the pickup, let me first explain what drove the downturn in 2023, which is inflation. We've had very high energy prices. We've had a high price level anyways, which led firms and also consumers to delay some of their purchase decisions, and particularly the purchase decisions of traded goods. Think of capital goods, think of durable goods, things like a fridge, things like a car. If prices are high and if also interest rates are high, you tend to delay your consumption choices. And that's what happened in 2023. And now that inflation is coming down, now that interest rates are coming down, we're also seeing a pickup again of international trade in 2024 and also 2025.
And region to region, it's a different picture, isn't it? Africa's showing the fastest growth. Why is that?
Well, yes, I would say overall it's actually a pretty broad-based recovery. In particular, if you kind of fast forward to 2025, it's pretty broad-based. It's true that if you look at the 2024 numbers, Africa really stands out, but you have to remember it's a growth rate, and the growth rate is always calculated relative to a base. So in some sense, it's really the weakness in 2023 for that particular region that is now showing this high growth rate. Overall, it's really a pretty balanced picture where we see Asia being strong, I would say, perhaps in particular in 2024, but also Europe, at least no longer being a drag on trade growth as it was in 2023.
You've talked a little bit about inflation, about high energy prices. Where would you say the pressure points are going to come from? What could get in the way of the global trade recovery continuing on this trajectory?
Well, I think inflation is certainly still on our minds. We have to make sure that it continues to ease, and the central banks have to make sure that they, manage their monetary policy, of course, in a responsible fashion. There's both an upside risk and a downside risk, if you will. It could also be that inflation is coming down faster than we have expected. But, beyond inflation, geopolitical tensions are, of course, on our radar. And the potential fragmentation of international trade that they could result in.
And in terms of where we can go from here, you threw forward to 2026 at one point, but what can we expect in the year ahead?
We can expect, so if you look at 2024, so the current year, what we expect is the volume of merchandise growth, the volume of merchandise trade to grow by 2.6%. If we look at next year, 2025, we expect the volume of merchandise trade to grow by 3.3%. So pretty robust growth. What we haven't talked about at all, and I also want to mention, is that services trade growth actually was already very strong in 2023, 9% year on year, and we also expect that this trend continues.